Like I remember once, like a long time ago, I asked him whether or not he was like a bottom or a top, and he said top, like just like that, just top, like as if like a knee-jerk reaction. In my head, I thought, wow, you really don't see him like a top. Hi, I'm Alex Anders, and this is the Bisexual Romance Author Vlog. So today I'm going to be talking about three things. I'm going to be talking about first Patreon campaign, because cool things happening there. Next, I'm going to talk about Aladdin's Jasmine, because there's some positive things happening there. And then finally, I'm going to talk about bisexuals dating other bisexuals, because there's an interesting story associated with that. Okay. So first things first, Patreon. Thank you everyone who's contributed to the Patreon campaign. It's growing slowly, but it is growing, and I think I'm going to be doing posting my first Patreon supported bisexual real talk video next week. So yeah, look forward to that. Also, today is Sunday, so you should have already received a request through Patreon asking you guys if you're at the $5 range, which books you would be interested in getting, and also which books you specifically you'd like to get this month. And then also for $30, which t-shirts you're interested in getting. And I also want to add in that just for a limited time until next week, Thursday, August 22nd, if you contribute up to $5 or more, you, if you so choose, will have your name included in my next bisexual romance with a thank you on it. And if you kind of like that and you'd like to have that in print, you can contribute at a $35 level, which is a new tier I've added. And if you do that, you will get a signed copy of my next book, paperback, that will have your name in it. So just to mention that, so if you contribute $5 or more by next Thursday, being the 22nd of August, then your name will be included in my next book as a thank you, and also that a new tier has been added for $35 for a signed copy of the paperback version of my next book, which hopefully should be coming out in the next 2 weeks. So that is Patreon. Next, I want to talk about Aladdin's Jasmine, because I might have some good news there. So the last time I spoke to you, I had said that I wasn't quite sure where it was going, but the rankings of my book did peak out at 51,000. Well, since then, this has happened. As you can see, it went to 51,000, it dropped down to 66,000, and then it skyrocketed in my terms to 32,000. And then after 32,000, it dropped a little to 39,000. And then it dropped down to 50, I think it's like 59,000. Now it's down to 165, but that's just today. Hopefully by the end of the night, it'll be higher. So it looks like it is an upward trend. And I had said that if it hovers in the 40,000 range, then I would do the audiobook. Just my own security, I would like to see it hit in the 40,000 range one more time, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's the day after. If it hits in that range again, I'll feel very comfortable to do the audiobook. But it seems pretty safe now that the book is an upward trend. If I do the audiobook, it'll just increase the sales of the book itself, and also it'll add enough visibility that the audiobook will probably sell as well. So yay! And also there's a chance that the sale of this book will help to sell Aladdin's First Time. And if that happens, if Aladdin's Jasmine continues to climb, that means it'll propel sales for the audiobook and it'll propel sales for the prequel. And it'll just make me really happy. Oh my God, that'll be so great. But yeah, so positive things there. So as soon as I finish my next book, the book I'm working on right now, which I think I am 2 days away from finishing, a little fun thing. That book's called Her Best Bad Decision. And I gotta say, it is unlike anything I've written before in that, well, it's a lot of humor to it, and a lot of my books have humor in it. But I often don't mention the word bisexual in any of my bisexual romances, because of the thing where it's like, if you're mentioning the word bisexual, that means you're talking about the concept of bisexuality as opposed to just living the concept of bisexuality. So, and I go back and forth on this. I don't know whether me, like, subconsciously I don't use the word bisexual because I'm concerned about how my readers would respond to the word bisexual, even though bisexual is written on the cover of my book. It's MMF Bisexual Romance. I just don't know how my readers would react to like it being a concept that's talked about in the book. However, in this book, I actually talk about it a lot because it's actually about someone who's famous who comes out and like how people react to it, how people respond to it. But past that, like I don't usually I don't have people in my book talking about the fact that they're in a threesome or they're in a MMF relationship. They just are in one. And not only in this book do I talk about being bisexual and what the character is experiencing, specifically using the word bisexual, but also about the experience of being in an MMF relationship. It's really self-aware, and I don't know if it'll take away from the romantic aspect or it'll just make it fuller because these are, this is the experiences of life experiences the characters are going through. And I will also say this. Someone wrote in a review for Aladdin's First Time that you're going to need tissues for it. I didn't realize that you need tissues for it. I had no idea. But I will say this. So far, I have cried 3 times while writing this book. 3 times I have cried. So if you needed tissues for Aladdin's First Time, man, you're just going to need a box full of them for this one because this one is... It moved me to tears multiple times, so there's that. But that was neither here nor there. After I finish writing this book, which I'm hopefully will be in the next 2 days of next week, and then I have to edit it and stuff like that, and then do the cover. As soon as I finish this book, I will go back and I will finish the audiobook for Aladdin's Jasmine. And hey, hopefully people will get it. Hopefully people will check it out. So that's that. And finally, I wanted to talk about a story that happened to me. So last weekend, I have one of my best friends here in Los Angeles. I went out, I was hanging out with her. She's straight, and we were talking about dating like usual. And she, of course, she knows I'm bisexual. Of course, she knows that every time I meet someone, my first question is, I wonder if they're bisexual. I hope they're bisexual. She knows that. We're constantly talking about that. But she said to me that she felt that straight people should date straight people, bisexuals should date bisexuals, and gay people should date gay people. And I know, because we've talked about this multiple times, that she doesn't want to date a bisexual. Now, I happen to also believe that bisexuals should date other bisexuals. I feel that they should really focus on dating other bisexuals, and that should be a thing. I think that bisexuals should search for bisexuals first. But that's different, it feels like if I, as a bisexual, say that, than as if a straight person says that they don't believe a bisexual should date a straight person. It feels different. It's like me as a black person saying that black people would be better served dating other black people. That's not something I believe. But if a black person were to say that, I could completely get behind that because I understand that there are life experiences that black people have that other people don't. And that dating another black person would, you'd be able to relate on a level. So if you're sensitive about that topic, then you should probably date other black people because you will get support in a way that you can't get from another race. Now, that's not something I personally follow. I date black people probably as much as I date any race. But as a bisexual, I feel that, dating other bisexuals, you get something from dating other bisexuals that you can't get from dating other people. There's a level of support and there's a level of understanding that you just can't get. You just can't unless from someone who understands what you're going through. So I always say that I feel bisexuals should date other bisexuals first. But a straight person doesn't know that little piece of detail. And I know that she's saying it for another reason. She's mentioned why she doesn't like to date other bisexuals. I can't remember what it is now. I kind of block it out every time she says it. And she said to me, would I be am I offended by her saying that she feels that straight people should only date straight people? And I know that back before I had this YouTube channel and before I was really open about being bisexual, that would really have offended me. Because it's oh great, so what? So you're saying straight people shouldn't date bisexuals? So now who are bisexuals supposed to date? What's supposed to happen there? But since then, it's been 4 years since then. And I now know that there's actually a ton of bisexuals out there. And I know that we could survive just dating other bisexuals. And we're hot. Bisexuals are hot. I don't care what other people say. I mean, my personal belief is, seriously, I find bisexuals to be hotter than everyone else. They just are. The most beautiful women always end up being bisexual. The hottest guys, in my opinion, always end up being bisexual. So, yeah, I think we are not underserved in any way if we decide we're only going to date each other. It's just like us saying, okay, we're only going to date hot people. Fine, okay, great. So now I don't have a problem with it. The old me would have had a problem with it. Do you have a problem with it? Like, what is your feeling on it? What has been your experiences dating bisexuals? Here's something else. So I've mentioned many times that I just end up dating bisexuals. It just happens. And I've not had a negative experience with it except for the guy who I was in love with, like the last guy I was interested in. And that was the first time like I had a negative experience dating a bisexual, specifically because they were bisexual. And it's not necessarily it wasn't because they were bisexual, it was because of the life stage they were at. But it was something that a bisexual actually, it's unique to a bisexual experience. Like you know that there are stages to bisexuality. There's stages to accepting your bisexuality and embracing your bisexuality. And like lesbians have a problem. Some lesbians have a problem dating some bisexuals because, you know, if you are a person, you've come of age, you've gone through adolescence, and your adolescence was dating of the same gender. That means you've gone through all the things of like, oh, how do I interact with this person in public? Oh, do I have to be closeted about this? Oh, I'm insecure about this thing. Oh, I'm insecure about that thing. Like, you go through adolescence in order to like work through all that stuff. So if you're a person who's worked through all those issues and you're dating someone who hasn't, it can be unpleasant. Like, I was talking to this other bisexual, and she was talking about dating other bisexual women, and she had dated 2 bisexual women in a row where they were baby bisexuals, and they were treating her horribly because, you know, at one moment, something that a bisexual does that is unique to bisexuals, just as a negative thing, is that they will be flaky as hell about going back and forth about whether or not they're bisexual. So she was telling about a story about how she was dating these bisexual women, and there was one in particular where, you know, they were having sex and making out, and then one day the younger bisexual came to her and said, okay, I'm not dating any women anymore, and that's that. And she was like, oh, okay, that's fine, we don't have to date anymore. But they happen to be going out somewhere, and then she gets a drink into her, and then she immediately starts kissing her, and then they go out and have sex. And then the next morning it's like, nope, not dating women anymore. Like, that's a very common thing for bisexuals. And she went through that twice, and she just happened to go through it while I just happened to be going through it, because the last guy was very much that way. Like, he was still coming into his own as bisexual, even to the point of, like, I remember once, like a long time ago, I asked him whether or not he was like a bottom or a top. And he said top. Like, just like that, just top. Like, as if like a knee-jerk reaction. In my head, I thought, wow, you really don't see him like a top. And there's a reason for that. Because after he got more comfortable with the concept of being bisexual, yeah, he's 100% a bottom. 100%. Like, not even a question anymore. I don't even think he questions it anymore. I don't even think he questioned it then. It's just that he didn't know how to deal with it. Like, as a male, there's a lot of pressure to conform to the stereotype. And even though he was a person who didn't seem like he would have to, like he would feel pressure to conform, he obviously did. And when you're like an inexperienced bisexual, you go through that. Like, you have to go through that feeling of first, you know, dealing with the stereotypes and coming, like, being comfortable enough with yourself in order to fight against it. And also the going back and forth thing, like coming to your own and saying, no, even though I might not be attracted to someone at this particular day, I'm still bisexual. Like, it's not like today I'm straight and tomorrow I'm bisexual. No, like you have enough experience in life to go, no, even though I may not feel it right now, I may not feel it today, I may not feel it this week, I'm still bisexual. So what has been your experiences dating other bisexuals? And how do you feel when people say that bisexuals should just be dating each other? That's something I'm really curious about, and like let's talk about this in the comment section below. We've been having like some good conversations in the comment section, so let's have this be a topic. How do you feel about dating other bisexuals? What has been your experience about dating other bisexuals? Have you experienced that whole like bisexual adolescent thing before? Have you gone through that? Are you going through that right now? Any of those things, let's talk about in the comment section below. But until the next video, again, thank you for supporting my Patreon campaign. And if you haven't yet, please go and check it out. Maybe you want to see your book and your name in print. That's kind of a cool thing I hope you guys would like. So until the next video, stay cooler, my bisexual friends. Stay cooler. And stay cooler, my bisexual and reader friends. Wow, I'm still getting used to this whole end credit thing. Stay cooler. Bye.